North rivals the Bears tonight at Lambeau. On Sunday, most of the Packers locked arms on the sideline during the national anthem. Earlier this week, Aaron Rodgers and his teammates put out a statement asking their fans to join them in demonstrating before tonight's game. We're joined by Fox NFL analyst Greg Jennings. Welcome, Greg. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Spent 7 years in Green Bay. What do you think we'll see tonight during the anthem?
We will see the Green Bay Packers and their fans in harmony for the most part, in unison for the most part. I truly believe that they're going to stand and lock arms, and if not lock arms, show some sign of unity, whether it's placing their hand on the person next to them, holding hands, embracing in some manner. What was interesting to me, I was reading this CNN article by Darren Simon, and they interviewed Justin Sipla, and he says, I hang the certificate displaying the minority shareholders that I own of the Green Bay Packers on the wall of my office instead of his PhD in anatomical sciences. Instead of his PhD. Then he goes on to say, that's all the students need to know about me. That's all they need to know about me. That's how important this Green Bay Packer organization and team is to these fans. They own a part of the fan. A part of the team. 360,000 fans share over $500 million worth of this team. Now, it doesn't give them any big rights, or they don't have the say that other owners across the league has, or the power, if you will. But it bothers them. It bothered them what Trump said about their team, their players. And so I think instead of the kneeling, and some do feel like that's disrespectful from a fan perspective, and I understand that. But what the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers are requesting of their fans, their diehard fans, and we know there's diehard fans everywhere, but I truly believe that it goes to another level in Green Bay. I believe that they will support their team because they feel a part of their team like no other team in the four major sports.
I agree. I believe they will show the utmost and will support the team, because you notice when fans talk, we won today, we lost. They didn't play, but they feel like they're a part of it. It's always we Skip, like Skip, our cowboy. Mm-hmm. Skip, he's a cowboy. I think in Aaron Rodgers, as long as they keep the message, they issue the statement that this is for intolerance, this is that we want justice to be served to everyone. We don't want anyone to feel underappreciated in America. So if you've been discriminated against, if you face social or racial injustices, this is for you. This is what we're joining for. This is about equality. This is about inclusion, not exclusion. This is why we're doing this. As long as we keep the focus on that. This has nothing to do with President Trump. This has nothing to do with him calling people SOB. This is still about the racial and social injustices that are occurring in America. And as long as the focus is on that, is that this is what we're joining arms for. This is what we're showing solidarity for. I get it, because I see what they did. A lot of what they've done, the NFL has kind of hijacked this. They've taken some of the toxicity, because protest is supposed to be uncomfortable. The people that you're trying to get in touch with should be compromised. Well, you want to seat at the counter? Well, too bad. The blacks are sitting there. Hey, y'all need to do something about this. Congress, y'all need to pass some laws or whatever y'all need to do to make this go away. So the blacks are saying, we're going to agitate lawmakers enough until you change policy, until we're treated fairly, until we're treated equally. And as long as that's the message of why we're showing solidarity, I'm cool with it, Skip. Would I like to see them take a knee? Yes, because the knee is uncomfortable. Like Dr. Dyson said, we took the N word with the hard ER, we put an A, tried to drain it of its toxicity. They're trying to drain
the poison. Yep.
They're trying to drain this protest a little bit of its toxicity. Yep. Because protesters should be uncomfortable, because you're trying to agitate the very, very people that you want to get their attention.
What's about to happen in Green Bay, Wisconsin tonight, just before kickoff, is fascinating to me, because you said you think they'll be in unison. It's almost 82,000 people, and you know this better than anybody knows how it feels to be right in the maelstrom of that 82,000, because I think the fervor with which they love that team is unlike any other fandom in America because of the ownership, but it's such a small market, and it's like, we got this, and we embrace it, and the love you feel when you run out of your tunnel there, it's got to be just at the top of the National Football League. But now, this is very interesting. Again, I'm not very political, but I'm trying to do a little homework here. Less than a year ago, Donald Trump won the election, and one of the states he won was Wisconsin. So
with President Obama, I think, in the previous election.
Okay. So you said you see unison displayed for the most part, but you also said, while it bothered, you think most of these fans, what President Trump said about NFL, the SOB comment, you said that some do feel it's disrespectful the way they've treated the flag. Okay? So now back to what Martellus Bennett and Lance Kendricks were saying. We want to challenge the fans. We want them to make a choice, and it's going to be virtually on national TV, because I'm sure the camera is going to be sweeping the stands, right? And you're going to be searching for pockets of dissent, maybe. You know, will that group decide not to lock arms? Because you're now putting these people on notice that you have to choose between the way you have always honored the flag during the anthem, which is, I assume, your hand over your heart. This time you have to change a little bit. You have to show unison by locking arms. Not that you couldn't lock arms and put your hand over your heart, but it's a little different. And so you're asking them to either honor the flag the way you always have, or to show support for especially the black Green Bay Packers. That's very interesting. So what if they don't? What if some say, gee, I just want to do it the way I've always done it?
Do you?
Do you?
Do you?
You okay with that?
I'm fine with it. Because the thing is about activism and for social change, you got to be in it. You can't just do it for show. You can't do it for play. And if that's not where you are, okay, fine. I'm not going to judge you. I mean, I don't understand why you wouldn't want everybody to be on a level playing field. I don't understand why you think someone should feel superior and someone else should feel inferior. And Skip, you mentioned something interesting. You said, and Greg, you said, you know, some of the people were outraged by what President Trump said. The reason why he won the election, it wasn't enough people outraged by the things that he had said and done.
That's true.
That was the problem. Not that some were, not enough were. And that's in lies the rub. And Skip, if you don't want to be a part of this, I get it. That's you. Why, like I said, why you don't want people to feel like, okay, I got just as good a chance to get that job as him, and I don't look like him, I don't have the same religious background as him. Because that's what America is. America says we're equal. This land is your land. This land is my land. It didn't say, okay, this land is your land. I don't get no cut of it. Made for you. Hold on. They finished it up by saying, what's for you and for me. But I guess we leave that part out.
And Skip, you bring up a point of, you know, standing with your hand over your heart. As a player, even when I stood on the sideline and I stood for the national anthem, sometimes I put my hand over my heart. Sometimes I didn't. Sometimes I clenched my shoulder pads. Sometimes my hands were behind my back. So there's several different ways you can honor the flag, if you will, or the national anthem, and show respect without placing your hand over your heart. But when someone asks you, if you come in someone's home and you sit down for dinner and they say, can we bless the food? And instead of just blessing the food, they add, can we go all lock hands? It's your choice.
It is.
But for the most part,
you're in their house.
You're in their house. And so you're going to conform, not totally conform of what you believe and everything, because you don't have to be in agreement with the prayer or whatever, but you're going to at least embrace and lock hands to just show respect for those who are in control
Which is
of that.
why I believe we're going to see almost 82,000 people just lock arms. I just think they will, to show support for the team they love.
And for me, when the national anthem was playing, guys, honestly, I wouldn't think about the country. In my mind, I'm praying to myself. I'm asking God to keep me and everybody safe. I never ask God to help me have a big game, because if I ask God to help me have victory or success, I'm asking him to be biased. And we know he's not biased. Keep us safe. Keep everybody in this building You saw them safely here. See them safely
I
home.
agree with that.
That's what I asked for. Skip, I mean, look, I get it. The national anthem is played, and it was cool to see those B-2 bombers or the stealth bomber flying over. That was cool, but I had so many other things going through my head at that time. Okay, Shannon, you know they're gonna come with this cat.
Yeah, that's right. That's
So-
what you're thinking.
That's what I'm honestly, Skip. I'm not thinking about the brave, and I get it, but that's not where I was then. At that moment, I know I'm less than 3 minutes away from this ball being kicked off. What do I need to do? Keep
Right.
God,
Well, only the people who are out there for the national anthem are doing that anyway. It's not like they close the bathrooms and close the
concession.
stands and close the gates
Yes.
and everything else. Like everyone in the entire stadium stops anyway. But it'll be a very interesting scene tonight in Green
Will
Bay.
be.
Greg, thanks for joining us. Will the Cowboys kneel on Sunday? We'll discuss that next.